Hello, this is Chip. Chip is an African fat-tailed gecko, and he would have been on this very list if I had made this video just a couple weeks, maybe it's been like 2 months since I've got him, so if I made this video 2 months ago, he would have been on it. That's because this video is 5 of the reptiles that I want soon, that I think I will be able to get soon, or that we already have the enclosure ready for, we're just waiting for the right time soon. We're moving kind of soon, so we're not looking to get anything like immediately, but like these are animals that I think could reasonably end up in my collection within the next year or so. So let's jump right in. So number 1, and these are in no particular numerical order, these are kind of in order that I think of them when I was writing them down. Number 1, a fire skink. I would love to have a fire skink. Not just because I have several empty 40 gallons laying around from before Kiwi could go into his big boy box, and one that we actually got Squirtle in, weirdly enough. If you didn't know, glass enclosures do not make a good tortoise enclosure. But we have extra 40 gallons. And I was really happy to find out that a fire skink could live in a 40 gallon happily for the rest of its life. I think they're just the coolest looking. They run around really fast, and they look like little, like the glow-in-the-dark stickers on like Skechers when you're running really fast and you can see the little streak of the light. They look like that, but it's their body, and it's just really cool. I also just love skinks. I have several skinks. I'm a big skink enthusiast. Skink, no, that doesn't work. Skink enthusiast, if you will. Or if you won't, I don't care. I'm a skink enthusiast. And so there's several skinks that I would just love to keep one day. And fire skinks seem to be the most realistic for me to keep in the near future. Number 2 on my list of pets that I would really like to see in my collection in the next year or so, hopefully, Hognose Snake. This would be my first pet snake. I've wanted one for a while. I've wanted one for as long as I've had most reptiles. I think their little derpy snouts are super cute. I think they get to a nice reasonable size where they're still like big enough that, you know, it's a snake and it's not like one of those tiny little worm kind of snakes. But it's not too big that like it'll need a ridiculously large enclosure. It's another that can live in a 40 gallon. And you already know I have multiple of those. Just the 2, but a hognose snake and a fire skink would fill up the 2. And that would be great because I like to have things in my enclosures. I don't like to have just enclosures sitting around. Not that I would ever get an animal without having the right setup for it and everything, but I like to allow things to come my way if I have empty space in my setup, you know? What are you doing, Chip? Man, these videos are ending up pretty short. Number 3 in 5 pets that I could see myself having in the near future. This is probably the one out of the 5 that would require the most expensive enclosure and would be kind of on the less realistic end of this list, I would suppose. This is a Euromastics Lizard. And this is honestly, this is one of my partner's dream reptiles, but who am I to say like I can get all the lizards I want and they can't, you know? So I also these are super cute. I love their chubby little cheeks. I love that they do that little belly wiggle thing. I know that they do that when they're stressed, but I still love it. Like, I love when Gumbo sticks his tongue out, even though that's a defensive thing. I think it's just the cutest. Not that I would purposefully cause that. Don't purposefully stress out your animals, but when you see it, when you see their natural behaviors, you know, you can appreciate it, you know? You get me? But I do really like Euromastics lizards. I really like that they're vegetarians and don't need much, if any, bugs in their diets, at least not after they're a baby. I like that there are a lot of different types and colors to choose from. I really like the ornatas, which are stunning. And I just think they're really cool. They would need the same type of enclosure we have for kiwi. That's a 4x2x2 or similar kind of sized enclosure, so pretty big. But I bet we could get away with a 75, at least for a juvenile, for a couple of years. If we get a juvenile, if we ever get one of these, I hope we do. But I can't guarantee. But yeah, I just think they're really cool lizards, and I would love to have one day. Number 4. And this is actually one that our roommates are gonna have when we move into our new place. So one of our friends has one of these. And you might not have guessed it because this tends to be a list for reptiles, but I never specified that because this one's a cat. Surprise. And you might think, you have rats, you have lizards, why, you can't have a cat? Yes, I can. As long as I take the proper precautions. You might notice this didn't have a lid last time I filmed a video in here. Last time I filmed a video, period. But now it has a lid because we're moving in somewhere where there's a cat. And even though we're gonna have our door to the reptile, all the reptiles are gonna be in our bedroom, the rats are gonna be in our closet, so 2 doors between them and where the cat can be. We're gonna get a bunch of baby gates, a bunch of we've got lids coming for all of our enclosures. We're gonna be really, really careful and make sure that there's gonna be a gate within our room to prevent the cat from if the cat just happened, we're gonna make sure that the cat cannot get to our pets. One day we would like to have a cat of our own as well. Whether or not that's realistic, I don't know. I'm hoping it is. Because I think cats are really cool. My mom was pretty allergic when I was growing up, even though she's really not that allergic anymore. I don't know much about allergies, but I guess that's something that can happen. So I never really got to have a cat. So it was always kind of a novel and exciting experience when I would go visit someone who had a cat. And I didn't really know how to interact with cats because all I'd ever had is dogs. So I'm really excited to be moving in with someone who has a cat because cats are just really cool. And I really like this cat. Her name's Hazel. So you might see Hazel on this channel one day. And the last but not least pet on this list of pets that I think I could have in the next year or so that I really want, more realistic dream pets if you will, is a Crested Gecko. And this is a really common pet in the pet trade, in the reptile trade. And this would be my 3rd gecko species, behind Cookie, the leopard gecko, and Chip, the African fat-tailed. But I've always loved Crested Geckos, and I don't know why I don't have one, honestly. I think it's just because we never got around, most of our reptile acquisition has been getting enclosures from my family or people who didn't need them anymore, and then picking one of the millions of animals that we are totally in love with to put in it. And for a lot of our animals, Cookie, Kiwi, Squirtle, that's reptiles who needed homes. And we love rescuing animals, honestly, more than anything. And I would be hard pressed to tell you if I like rescuing or actually purchasing from a breeder or reptile shop or reptile expo more. It's just so rewarding working with animals that are rescues. Not that I am happy that reptiles are out there that need rescuing, but it's been really rewarding for me personally working with animals like Cookie and Squirtle and Kiwi. I love Kiwi to death, and a lot of the rats are rehomes too. Chip is from a pet store, Gumbo's from an expo, and so I don't know if we're ever going to get a Crested Gecko from someone who needs a new home for their Crested Gecko, or if we're gonna go the breeder route. Either way, we're gonna love that gecko to death. And that will probably be the one that we'll get the soonest because of the space that they would need. If we have any free space in the apartment, I think that's what we'll put in it. That is it for the 5 pet reptiles, not pet reptiles because there was a cat, 5 pets that I think I could see myself having sooner rather than later, and that I want really badly. Please share this video, comment below if you have some dream reptiles that you are excited about getting relatively soon, or not relatively soon, or if you have a video suggestion, just comment, say hi, like this video, hit the bell icon, do all those things that YouTubers tell you to do to this video. to help me out and to help Chip out. This is how I buy Chip crickets. Not really, this is a hobby, but a hobby that helps me buy Chip crickets. And doesn't Chip love crickets? He does, trust me. Have a nice day though.